Good day and welcome to the Lillyroddyshow, coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining me today as we look at what's going on in the sky for the week of November the 1st through November the 7th of 2015. The weather's been really nice here in Houston, especially in the mornings. We've been opening the doors and windows. I hope you've been enjoying the fall weather as much as we have. The week of November the 1st through the 7th is going to be a fairly active week with only one long void moon period. That's a lot of words, isn't it? Sunday and Monday, Thursday and Friday are the busiest days of this week. And I wanted to thank all the people that leave nice comments and email messages about my show. I'm glad you're liking my new format. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can always reach me at lillyroddyshow@aol.com, lillyroddyshow.com, or find us on Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest under Lilly Roddy Show. I'll be happy to answer your questions or to schedule a session with me. So let's look at some of the activity we're going to be having this week, November the 1st through the 7th. Sunday, November the 1st, is an especially important day as it's the time to turn your clocks back. Fall back 1 hour. If you don't, you may end up living in the future waiting for someone else to catch up with you. On Monday, November the 2nd, Mercury enters Scorpio for the next 19 days. Words will be more powerful and we're likely to question everything we hear. A good image for Mercury and Scorpio is the detective. Also on Monday, we're having a Venus-Mars conjunction, and this will be especially strong late in the evening. Venus is the planet of desire, and Mars is the planet of action. This could certainly give us a lot of extra energy for all of Monday, for tackling new projects or just getting ourselves going. Tuesday, November the 3rd, is Election Day here in Houston, and I hope all my friends are getting out to vote for Proposition 1 to protect people from discrimination in our city. On Tuesday evening, 7:46, until Wednesday evening at 8:22 p.m., the moon is void. And in addition to that, there are no exact aspects on Wednesday. That may make Wednesday, that's Wednesday the 4th, a better day to just relax and go with the flow rather than trying to push your own agenda. On Thursday and Friday, November 5th and 6th, now these are much better days to get your projects taken care of. You'll be feeling more positive about what you're doing and you're ready to get your life in a better order. Both of these days, the Thursday and Friday, should be very good for accomplishing our task. Saturday, November the 7th, is a more normal day, whatever that means, and we won't be as driven. So this week should be an easier week to navigate, really, than the last couple of weeks. For the topic for this week, I thought I would look at the ongoing Saturn square Neptune in the sky. I know this is important to many of us here in Houston since Saturn square Neptune has been at the cause of the lowering of gas prices and causing many gas and oil firms and related entities to lay people off. We began to feel the Saturn-Neptune square first in March of 2015 when Saturn and Neptune were close but not exact. Our next Saturn-Neptune square occurs on Thanksgiving Day, November the 26th, 2015. On that day, the square will be exact. The last encounter that Saturn and Neptune will have will be in September the 10th, 2016, when Saturn and Neptune will be at 10 degrees Sagittarius and Pisces. This may mean that gasoline prices will remain low, which will certainly help some parts of the USA economy, but could continue to put a big damper on the oil and gas businesses. The Saturn-Neptune square will also bring up our national health care and the insurance irregularities that were caused by making everyone have to buy health insurance. The Saturn-Neptune square will bring into focus our immigration problem, both nationally and internationally. And there may be a lot more border disputes between countries. Often we have problems with Mexico with our borders, especially when Pluto's in Capricorn. Now, Saturn and Neptune don't always get along well. They are two planets that really have totally different agendas. First, Saturn is a planet of career, long-term security, and personal investments, and where to put our boundaries. Saturn's an action planet and is concerned with having a future plan. Saturn expects us to be doing something. Now, Neptune is quite different. Neptune represents spirituality, the concept of totality. We're all equal and all is one. There's no need for competition or the desire to get ahead. Neptune is happy to just be. Neptune shows us the clarity about the illusions that we have about our own reality that's generated from Saturn. So generally, we're experiencing the extreme differences of these two planets at the same time, sort of coming to a head right around Thanksgiving. Saturn is pushing us ahead to get us to make decisions, while Neptune has no idea why we're doing that, or even if that's even important. We may doubt our skills or confidence. We may really want to reach out and do something that's intrinsically fulfilling, but are not sure of the path and whether or not it'll work out. Neptune wants us to be fed internally, so the choices we make have to be more about us and what's important to us really. Whereas Saturn is concerned with our security and wants to work with what's available rather than going off on some half-baked dream. It's as though we can't trust our intellect or our intuition. In order to work with Saturn and Neptune more successfully, we obviously have to do a little of both. During the week of Thanksgiving, the energy and strength of Saturn-Neptune square will be at its peak, especially on Thanksgiving Day. Because of this, we'll all want a safer and less drama-ridden family dinner. During the holiday week, people's energies will be lower and more will want to hide out rather than to participate in large gatherings. I would say that this is a very Neptunian week, with Mercury squaring Neptune, Saturn conjuncting Neptune that week, and the Sun squaring Neptune and conjuncting Saturn on Sunday the 29th, right after the holiday. I think because of all these Neptune contacts, essentially the overall energy will feel flatter, and most of us will want to hang out in your nightgown and avoid family gatherings altogether. It's very easy to say that the best thing to do would be to celebrate this holiday with the people that you really like and not the people that you feel obligated to. For some of you, Saturn, the planet of guilt and shame, will be stronger and you'll do what's expected. Just make sure you have an exit strategy handy. This can also be a great time to get away from your traditions and do something totally different. And for those of you that actually have good family connections and enjoy this holiday, these energies should only enhance your experience. Now, of course, we'll be talking more about the Saturn-Neptune square throughout the next year or so as we learn to dance with both of them. Now, I thought this might also be a good time to review some of the charts of the presidential candidates and how well they are doing. I did a show about the Republican candidates right before the first debate. The show is still up if you want to go back and review it. Jeb Bush appears to be in the running, even though there's a lot of people that don't think he's electable at this time. Come election time, Jeb Bush's chart is much improved, and I definitely think that he would be a major contender if he doesn't lose the nomination before we get to the general election in 2016. Ben Carson continues to hang in there, as I thought he would. Mr. Carson has planets in Leo, Virgo, and Libra. So he's really benefiting from the transit of Jupiter through Virgo and eventually into Libra in August of 2016. Scott Walker has dropped out, again, much as I expected he would. And finally, Donald Trump. We see that Jupiter has moved out of Leo, which was really pushing Donald Trump's chart. That energy has shifted, and he's not carrying the same interest or polling numbers. Mr. Trump's chart seems to encounter more blockages and difficulties as we get closer to the actual election date. But one thing Mr. Trump thrives on is when he's challenged. He may not do as well when he's so far ahead. In the Democratic field, Bernie Sanders continues to be strong. Remember, he has a lot of planets in Virgo and then some in Aries and Libra. This is exactly where Jupiter will be moving through at the time of the elections. I'm sure he'll have a strong following even if he's not chosen as the Democratic candidate. My concern about Bernie Sanders is that he announced his candidacy under a Mercury retrograde. And being a Virgo, that seems kind of off. However, Mercury is retrograde during the election, and his chart does have a lot of strength. Vice President Joe Biden decided to not throw his hat into the ring, again, much as I thought he would, simply because he's having Neptune square his Saturn. That's usually a time of retreat or a time of retirement rather than sort of stepping into some kind of huge contest. And finally, Hillary Clinton, still under all the questions, continues to move ahead. Ms. Clinton's been having Saturn square her midheaven, which is this investigation into her integrity and credibility. And despite the fact that she has a lot of people in her own party questioning her viability, her chart does look good at the time of the election next year. And one important thing that affects all of the candidates is that as we get closer to the election day, Saturn, planet of judgment and scrutiny, moves through Sagittarius, will begin to put a lot more pressure on all of these candidates. This is because many of the candidates have strong mutable charts or lots of planets in mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, or Sagittarius. Saturn will really begin to test their mettle at the end of June and into the beginning of July of 2016. But I'm sure there's more surprises to come before we get to the election. Well, thank you for joining me this week, November 1st through November 7th of 2015. And if you haven't, please take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be notified when our new show hits the airwaves. Please join me next week as we look at the astrological happenings for November the 8th through November the 14th, 2015. This is the Lilly Roddy Show, coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas, reminding you to keep those stars in your eyes. Bye-bye.